Corey Perlman is a social media keynote speaker, owner of Impact Social Media, Inc. His websites are coreyperlman.com, impactsocialmedia.com. And he's always telling us the do's and don'ts when it comes to social media, and I always listen.
Yeah, well, I've been posting. I've been posting on Instacart for many years now, and wondering why I'm not getting any traction with my cucumber pictures on Instacart.
I use the potato.
Yeah, potato goes in front of the Speedo, by the way.
I use an eggplant.
Yeah. Hey.
Wow!
Said the social media guy.
Whoa!
Hey, Corey, we talked about AI last time and artificial intelligence, how it's going to affect the world of social media and interaction and such. And I didn't even think about it because we've heard for probably 8-10 years of SEO, search engine optimization. And now we're hearing AIO, artificial intelligence. What does that mean, artificial intelligence optimization?
Yeah, so it's a reminder to all of us that AI is not just giving us answers to questions, but it's recommending people, businesses, services. So we want to be optimized so that we show up in those results. So that's what it means, artificial intelligence optimization. Think of it like SEO, but for AI.
So practically speaking, how would that work? Like, in other words, because it seems to me, and you're the person I believe, maybe it was you, maybe it was another guest that said, stop thinking about ChatGPT and AI as a search engine, think of it as a person, as a partner. And I think doing that, in my mind, what I'm thinking is, we're data scraping faster than, I remember my daughter was in studio the other day just watching the show with her husband and said, we were talking about ChatGPT with Dan Negroni, our millennial and a Gen X expert. And he says, well, I think people aren't thinking for themselves. I said, no, I think they're thinking for themselves, as long as you understand how it works, because you're just scraping all of the Encyclopedia Britannica and Funk and Wagnalls in your dad's library all at the same time. It's just faster. But talk about the optimization side. How does that practically work?
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Sully. I mean, there's this whole side, obviously, for us to use it as a tool, but the other side is for other people to find us. So the best practices around doing that are similar to what we used to do for SEO, which is write words, write content with the way that other people would search for us. So in my case, social media keynote speaker. I need to be writing short blurbs, and it's not just on websites anymore. It's on social media sites, it's on videos. Everything you post content on, you want to keep it short, sweet, and bullets over paragraphs.
And the interesting part of this is, if you use something like Perplexity,
Yes.
and such, you can ask follow-up questions to it. And I think that you really have to think about, if you're a writer, write it all like I do. You write, you rewrite, you walk away from it, you rewrite it again, and then you massage it. You can do the same thing here, which is going to optimize. And is the idea to optimize the message? Is the idea to optimize interactions, or is it all the above?
The most important thing to optimize is your bio. So think about like the top of your Instagram, the top of your LinkedIn. You want to make sure, again, you're using the same words that people would be looking for to find you. So I could say all these things that I am. At the end of the day, people are searching for social media keynote speakers. So I need to use those words all over my bios.
Corey Perlman is the owner of Impact Social Media, Inc., website impactsocialmedia.com. Corey, there was a number of years ago when Sully and I were still doing terrestrial radio. Anytime we posted...
We still are, by the way. Radio 600 Kogo every Saturday.
Sorry, you're right.
Saturday here in
Not
San Diego,
full-time,
and also
though.
KFI in Los Angeles, although, when's the last time you got paid for that? Yeah, maybe not.
Where anything that we posted on social media that had to do with a product or company we were endorsing, we had to make sure we posted hashtag AD, so people knew it was an advertisement that we were promoting. With AI and the way it is growing and the way people are getting duped by it and the way that it's everywhere, where you look at it now and go, okay, is this real or is this fake? Are we going to get to the point that the government has to step in, if they haven't already, and said, okay, if you're going to post something on social media, whatever the case is, you have to put hashtag AI or something like that?
Yeah, that's a great point, Mike. I mean, we are kind of the wild, wild west, similar to when the internet was first out there.
Yes.
And so there's no rules right now. And I feel like there has to be some kind of rules and regulations, because it's a baby right now, right? It's a newborn, and you can kind of still tell that the video is AI,
right?
But it's coming fast, and it's going to be harder and harder to tell. And it's not fair to people to know whether or not it's fake or not, I think.
Do you know what's interesting is that if you think in terms of Internet 1.0, Napster, Netscape, MySpace,
AOL.
AOL, CompuServe. Actually, it was America Online.
That's right.
And then Thomas Penfield Jackson, a judge, did the Microsoft antitrust ruling, which sort of burst the dot-com bubble. And here comes 2.0 internet, which included Facebook. It included, now it's what's called Instagram, YouTube. What is a bigger, better, faster, stronger, and cheaper and more efficient internet? I sort of feel like there's going to be a comeuppance here with respect to ChatGPT and AI, although which felt like, remember we're doing Netscape and the .coms and the .orgs and the .cc's and all that stuff? Don't you think, and I'm not suggesting it has to be something negative, I'm just suggesting there's going to be a comeuppance somewhere where there's going to be a pain point, the ugly period, that all businesses and technologies have, and all of a sudden then it's going to be an aha moment. How do you feel about that?
Strap in. I mean, it's job security for me, and I'm very excited about. Yeah, because the rules are going to be changing faster than we can possibly imagine, and I think you guys are right. There's got to be some changes in regulations because we're going to go willy-nilly with it at first and make all kinds of mistakes. So it's going to be fun to watch.
Hey, Corey, we got a couple minutes left. I want to ask you, and this is off script here today in terms of talking points, but we've seen in the past, I just mentioned a few, the MySpaces of the worlds and the Vines and all that stuff. Basically, we are living with 3 major or 4 major social platforms. If you take LinkedIn out of the way, because LinkedIn I think is going to be the best practices for almost all business social and communication going forward, especially when AI takes over there. What is the next Instagram? What's the next Facebook? What is the next TikTok? Is there any whisperings of things coming on? Because I think one of the things that you've seen, Facebook, for example, is for dinosaurs. Instagram is going to go that way unless they modify. TikTok may end up being, the discount store on the sideline that was thought to be the main deal because of the credibility factor and who owns it. What are you hearing on the horizon?
Well, this is a little bit of breaking news. It's not exactly the answer to your question, but I think it's worth sharing with your audience because they need to know what's happening. But as of yesterday, Instagram announced a reposting feature. So this is their way of staying relevant, Sully, I think. And so it's a feature similar to what you can do on TikTok and on X, which is like retweeting, if you remember. But you can now repost something on your platform that somebody else's. You've never been able to do that before on Instagram.
No kidding.
And it's a giant new feature. So there you go, breaking news.
Okay, well, fantastic stuff. Last of all, Corey, speaking of X, how is X doing? If you were to overlay X versus Twitter, pre-X, post-Twitter, is it still as impactful as it was before or not?
Not well. We don't talk about it. We don't hear about it. So
some of it's not even used.
Not going well.
I don't hear about it either. Corey Perlman is his name.
Corey Perlman, social media keynote speaker, owner of Impact Social Media Inc. website, impactsocialmedia.com. Corey, always appreciate the visits.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate
Absolutely.
Can't wait to have him back in studio.
Oh my God.